I love this game. I live this game. And there's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Adam Sandler is one of the most loved comedy actors in Hollywood, but on day 14 of the Diddy trial, no one was thinking about jokes. Instead, they were thinking about Diddy and what Adam Sandler had come to say about him. The courtroom was packed, reporters waiting, cameras flashing, and when Adam sat down to testify, the mood changed. What he shared wasn't funny. It was dark, disturbing, and all centered around one man, Sean Diddy Combs. According to Sandler, Diddy wasn't just a music mogul. He was a master manipulator.
After lunch, Mia was back on the stand, and remember, prosecutors wanted her to be done today, but unfortunately, she will be back on the stand Monday. Once the jury was back in the courtroom, Brian Steele had them pass around a scrapbook Mia made for Diddy in 2014. He made that scrapbook after having a conversation with Diddy where he told her, "I used to look at the world the way you did," implying that he had done it all and had everything. She said it was hard to get a birthday gift for someone who had a lot of money and thought he would really enjoy it. At the top of the scrapbook, she wrote, "Puff, sometimes life goes by at a catastrophic speed. I hope on this day, I hope you can sit back and consider I made this book of articles from 1991 to now." Brian Steele asked her, "How could you make something so kind for a man that ruined your life?" And she said, "It's called psychological." There was no one around who flinched at his behavior.
A man who used charm, power, and fear to control the people around him. At first, Adam thought Diddy was a friend. He said Diddy acted like a mentor, someone who saw potential in him. Not just as a comedian, but as a creative partner. But that's how it started. What came next, according to Sandler, was a slow and terrifying descent into manipulation and emotional control. One of the most shocking things Sandler revealed happened during what Diddy called a brotherhood weekend. Diddy had flown Adam to his mansion in Miami. It was supposed to be a bonding trip between two stars, but late one night, Diddy invited Adam to join him in a steam room. The way he said it was strange, like they were performing some kind of ritual. "Let's wash off the day," Diddy told him.
She also said that this was an abusive relationship, and Brian Steele said, "But you were not in a relationship," and she reminded him that you don't have to be in a relationship for it to be. I was young and manipulated and eager to survive. I'm unraveling a lot of this now in therapy. Nobody was there to say these things that were happening were wrong. There was nobody around us that ever even flinched at his behavior. I was always in trouble, and I was always just trying to find a way not to be in trouble. And asked why she needed someone else to tell her it was wrong for Diddy to make her feel like he would unalive her, she said, "There's a difference between my logic brain and trauma brain. The trauma brain wins. Eventually, it becomes normalized, and you're just trying to get back to the good. You make excuses for people. I'm a people pleaser. I'm an empath. I'm a rule follower. Just wanted to do my best and make everybody happy all the time, so I tend to take a lot more than normal people. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if I should apologize for that. I forgive people all the time for things."
At first, Adam didn't want to go, but he didn't want to offend Diddy either. So he went in, he kept his boxers on, trying to keep things light. But Diddy laughed and tried to pull them down. "Don't be shy," he said. "This ain't Hollywood, this is real life." Sandler told the court he felt small, like saying no would destroy everything. And that's what Diddy counted on, his power to make people feel like they had no choice. This wasn't just a one-time thing. Adam said Diddy continued to invite him to places. Always alone, always with a strange energy. One time in LA, Diddy told him to come over and watch movies like the old days. When Adam arrived, there was no staff, no assistants, just Diddy in silk pajamas. After a while, Diddy paused the movie and said, "You look tired. Come nap with me." Adam said it felt like a trap, but he still followed. "I didn't want to make it weird," he said, but Diddy wasn't joking. He patted the bed and said, "You're mine now, Sandy." It was said calmly, confidently. That, Adam said, was the scariest part. Every move Diddy made, according to Adam, was about control. He'd send gifts, show up uninvited, and act like nothing had happened. It was psychological warfare. Diddy didn't need violence. His weapon was influence. Adam said he felt like a puppet. He couldn't go to the press, couldn't tell friends. "He made you feel like your entire career was in his hands," Adam told the jury. And maybe it was.
And she said after St. Bart's, she confronted him about his behavior, but not about the SA. Diddy's response to his behavior was that he needed help. She was then asked about the birthday video, to which she had said she asked people to be in that video, including celebs, who agreed to do it. She said, I probably told him I loved him in the video, but I don't remember. When asked if she had lied on the stand about Diddy's behavior, she said, I have not lied at all. Brian Steele then says, isn't it true it did not happen as many times as you said? And she replied, everything I said in this courtroom is true. When asked why she made the scrapbook, she said, you can talk to an expert about SA. Mia then testified to text messages between her and KK from December 6, 2016, where she said she was devastated finding out she was being let go. She had text KK saying, my life is over. I might as well unalive myself. KK responded saying, call me back or I'm calling your parents. And she said, F, I'm so sorry. I'm with Laura Gomez. Brian asked her who that was, and she said someone from HR. When KK texted her back saying, I'm not going to, she said, the pain hurts so effing bad. Brian Steele said to her, you could have quit. And she said, I didn't see it that way. He said, why? And she said, there's a pretty long psychological explanation. I was around them 24 hours a day. This is all I knew.
Things got worse in Aspen. It was supposed to be a fun, creative retreat. Lots of people from the industry were invited. Adam felt safe until Diddy said they'd take a private snowmobile ride to a quiet lodge. Just us, he said. Adam didn't want to go, but again, he didn't want to make a scene. That lodge turned into something out of a horror movie. There was a fire, a robe, a camera on a tripod. Diddy gave Adam the robe and said, you're in my space now. This is how we do it. He wanted Adam to strip down. When he refused, Diddy tried to untie his robe. Adam ran out, and then came the final blow, the tape. Years later, Adam received a USB in the mail. On it, a short clip of one of those private moments. It wasn't violent, but it was clear Diddy had been recording him without consent. Be careful what you say, the note read. We all have ghosts. That was the moment Adam knew he wasn't just a friend to Diddy. He was a piece of leverage, a piece of... In court, Adam testified that he wasn't the only one. Other celebrities had received threats, clips, messages. Diddy kept files. Insurance, as he called it. It wasn't about sex. It was about power, about making sure no one ever stepped out of line.
Just after 11 o'clock this morning, the defense said we are moving for a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct. The motion was denied. But here's the backstory. Lance Jimenez, an arson investigator, was asked about that Molotov cocktail that was found inside Kid Cudi's car back in 2012. He said that in August of 2012, print cards were destroyed. Here's where the defense took the issue. There were two additional questions asked that said, did you authorize prints to be destroyed? This is what the prosecution asked the arson investigator. Then they said, was this unusual? So the defense said in their argument as to why they want a mistrial that they felt this was prejudicial. They felt like this was the prosecution trying to put in the jurors' heads that Combs somehow was involved with the destruction of evidence. But again, the judge denied the motion for a mistrial, and instead, when the jurors came back, he said to them, quote, questions regarding destruction of fingerprint cards are irrelevant and not to be considered in this case.
For years, Adam said he lived in fear. He turned down roles, avoided interviews. People thought he was being picky, but really, he was terrified. He suffered from PTSD. He had nightmares, panic attacks, all from the shadow Diddy had cast over his life. The defense tried to say Adam's career hadn't suffered, but Adam shut that down. Fame is not protection, he said. It's a costume, and I wore mine every day. He showed the court a handwritten note from 2004 that read, I wish I could disappear. He wrote it right after Diddy threatened to ruin him if he spoke about Aspen. In the end, Adam Sandler wasn't looking for revenge. He said this trial wasn't about money or fame. It was about truth. And for the first time, he felt free to speak it. He told the court, I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. But maybe I'll be the loudest. As he stepped down from the witness stand, the courtroom was silent. Not because they didn't believe him, but because they did. For the first time, the world wasn't seeing Diddy as a music mogul or a party king. They were seeing him through the eyes of someone who said he lived in fear of him for years. Adam walked out of that courtroom not as a comedian, not as a movie star, but as a man who had survived what he called Diddy's emotional abuse. A man who finally got his voice back. And as the trial continues, more eyes are turning toward Diddy. Not the artist, not the businessman, but the man accused of building an empire not just on music, but on silence and fear. This trial isn't just about one celebrity's pain, it's about how power can be used to silence people for years.
Right now, Sean Diddy Combs isn't only fighting for his freedom, but also his money. Even with all his legal troubles, Forbes estimates his net worth is still around $400 million. But if he were to be convicted, all that could be in jeopardy. Why? Because the government could actually seize his assets. People might hear that and think, wait, does that really mean that all of his businesses, all the money he has, could conceivably have been used to finance this? Therefore, it's all fair game?
Yeah, it pretty much is. I mean, this is a very, very broadly phrased forfeiture allegation. It doesn't look like there was any sort of pre-indictment seizures that they're counting towards it. Normally you see things they've already gotten their hooks into. So it's basically just saying if it is an instrumentality or a proceed, we're going to go after it. And they've named the enterprise in a very broad way, the RICO. The RICO is essentially anything he touched in his business world, whether it's record labels, liquor labels, planes, trains, and automobiles. Basically mean everything is in play. And the other thing is there's a concept called substitute assets. Just when you think you're crawling out of the wreckage and you're down to your last 400 million, you're told, oh, we're also going for substitute assets, which means even if we can't prove that this particular car, this diamond watch, this piece of art is not connected to criminality, it still relates to our overall reward, and we're going to use it as a substitute.
It's about what happens when someone finally finds the courage to speak. Adam Sandler may have made the world laugh for decades, but now he's showing what real bravery looks like. What do you think will happen next in the Diddy trial? Do you believe more names will come forward? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to stay updated